Okay, wouldn't it be amazing to just ask the internet any question and just get like a perfect answer right away? No scrolling through Google, no reading long articles, just boom, the knowledge you need. Well, guess what? We're getting closer than ever. ChatGPT just got a huge upgrade. That's what this deep dive is all about. We're going to break down exactly what's new with it, how it works, and like what it means for all of us. Think of it like your cheat sheet to this whole thing. We're going straight from OpenAI's announcement blog post here. And we really want to help you understand not just the technical stuff, but like the bigger picture of how this could change how we learn and use information.
I think the really fascinating part is that we're not just talking about another search engine. It's like a whole different way of using the entire internet.
Okay, let's break it down. So ChatGPT can now access and process information from the whole web. It doesn't just give you like pre-programmed answers anymore. It can pull up facts, figures, and even give you links to like where it got the info from.
Exactly. It's making research so much easier. Like imagine trying to learn about something really complex. Before you'd be jumping back and forth between ChatGPT and your search engine, putting the pieces together yourself. Now it does all that for you, like having a super-powered research assistant built right in.
And this is what I think is really cool. You don't have to talk like a search engine anymore. Like typing in the perfect keywords. Now you can just talk to it normally, like you're asking a friend. And it remembers what you asked it before. So you can go back and forth and refine your search. Can you explain how that works?
Well, think about how normal search engines work. They just match keywords. So you type in best hiking trails near me, and it tries to find websites with those exact words. ChatGPT goes deeper. It actually tries to understand what you mean.
So instead of just giving me every website with hiking trails, it might be like, okay, what kind of hiking do you like? Are you looking for mountain views or like more forest? How long of a hike are you thinking?
Exactly. It's having a conversation to figure out what you want. And that's not all. OpenAI has partnered with big names in news, like Vox Media and Le Monde. So you can get up-to-date info on things like the weather stocks and breaking news, all within ChatGPT.
Yeah, I saw that. It seems like they're trying to make sure this new search is accurate and trustworthy, not just grabbing stuff from anywhere on the web. They're going to reputable sources.
Yeah, that's key. They're really emphasizing that.
Yeah.
Pam Wasserstein, the president of Vox Media, said, "This will better highlight and attribute information from trustworthy news sources, benefiting audiences while expanding the reach of publishers." So it's good for everyone.
And honestly, the source linking thing is big for me. You know how many times you read something online and you're like, wait, where did they get that? Now you can see exactly what articles or websites ChatGPT is using.
It's all about being transparent and giving users the power to check things themselves. Louis Dreyfus, the CEO of Le Monde, said it well. He thinks AI search is going to be the main way people get information in the future. But it's really important to safeguard journalism's core values and integrity. Being able to verify sources is a big part of that.
Okay, this all sounds amazing, but I gotta admit, I'm a little lost on the how it works part. This fine-tuned GPT-4 and synthetic data, it's a bit over my head. Can you explain it to me like I'm 5?
Okay, so imagine ChatGPT has this huge library. It's got all these real web pages, articles, and stuff. But OpenAI made a special section filled with what they call synthetic information. It's basically carefully written summaries, explanations, and examples that help ChatGPT understand complicated ideas.
So they kind of gave ChatGPT extra knowledge to help it handle those tougher, more detailed questions.
Exactly. By mixing that real-world data with this special synthetic data, they made a system that can understand things and make connections. That it couldn't do with just the web data alone.
That makes a lot more sense. Like ChatGPT is a student who's not just memorizing facts, but actually trying to understand the material deeply.
That's a great way to put it. It's like they've given it the ability to not just read the textbook, but actually understand the concepts and use them.
And they're not even done yet. The announcement said they're looking for feedback, especially from people in the news industry. They even gave an email address for publishers to share their thoughts. I'm really interested to see what improvements they make based on that feedback.
It's exciting to think about. One thing they mentioned is making the search even more focused. So like imagine doing all your shopping or planning a whole trip just within ChatGPT. No more jumping between different websites and apps. It would make everything so much smoother.
Yeah, I hate having like a million tabs open when I'm booking a flight or finding a good deal.
Exactly. It would be a game changer.
Anything else they hinted at?
Well, they briefly mentioned their O1 series AI models. These sound really interesting. They're designed for even deeper research, not just finding information, but actually analyzing it and putting it together in new ways. It's almost like building an AI that can not only find the answers, but come up with new insights.
Well, hold on. So instead of just a list of facts, it could actually draw conclusions or make predictions.
That's the idea, and it's still early. But it has the potential to totally change fields like scientific research or market analysis. Imagine an AI that can go through mountains of data and find hidden patterns or trends that humans might miss.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. This is way bigger than just a new search engine. It's like the next step in how we learn things. It's almost like we're moving from a searching mindset to a knowing mindset. Instead of having to hunt down information, it just comes to us.
Yeah, it's like having all the knowledge in the world at your fingertips, instantly accessible, and tailored to exactly what you need.
Which is amazing. But it also makes me wonder, if we're getting all these perfect answers right away, are we going to lose the ability to think for ourselves? Part of what makes learning so rewarding is that process of discovery, sifting through different sources, weighing the evidence, forming our own conclusions. Are we going to bypass all of that now?
That's a really good point. It's important to remember these AI tools are just that. Tools, they're powerful, but they don't replace human thinking.
So maybe instead of thinking of it as bypassing critical thinking, we should think of it as shifting it to a different level.
Exactly. We can focus on the higher level thinking skills, like analyzing, evaluating, applying the information. Instead of spending all our time gathering information, we can spend more time understanding and using it.
So it's like we're graduating from information gathering to knowledge creation.
I like that. It's subtle but important. And think about what it means for education. Imagine classrooms where students are no longer just memorizing facts, but having deep discussions, exploring complex issues, and working on projects that push the boundaries of knowledge.
And it's not just classrooms. Think about people who are always learning. Professionals who need to stay up to date. Anyone who's ever felt overwhelmed by how much information is out there. This could change everything for them.
Absolutely. It has the potential to make knowledge accessible to everyone in a way we've never seen before. It's both incredibly exciting and a little bit scary at the same time.
I know, right? It feels like we're on the edge of something huge. But we're still figuring out what it all means. One thing that stood out to me in the announcement was that they emphasized that any website or publisher can choose to appear in Chatgpt search. It sounds like they're trying to be as inclusive as possible while also giving publishers control over how their content is used.
That's crucial, especially as we navigate this new world. We need to make sure that publishers, especially those producing high-quality original content, are treated fairly, and that their work isn't just being taken and used without their permission.
It's about finding that balance between innovation and responsibility, making information accessible, but also protecting the people who create it.
Exactly. It's a complex issue, but one that we need to address head-on.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this part of our deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground, but there's still so much more to explore. In the next part, we'll be taking a closer look at the ethical implications of this new technology and discussing what it all means for the future of knowledge and information. So stay tuned, and we'll see you back here soon.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, it's like they've given ChatGPT the ability to not just read the textbook, but to actually understand the concepts and apply them.
And they're not even done yet. In the announcement, they said they're actively looking for feedback, especially from people in the news industry. They even gave an email address for publishers to share their thoughts. I'm really curious what kind of improvements they come up with based on that feedback.
Yeah, it's exciting to think about. One thing they mentioned was making the search even more specialized. So imagine you could do all your shopping or plan a trip entirely within ChatGPT. No more jumping between websites and apps.
Yeah. I hate having a million tabs open when I'm trying to book a flight or find the best deal on something.
Exactly. It could streamline the whole process.
That would be a game changer. Is there anything else they hinted at?
Well, they briefly mentioned their O1 series AI models. And these sound really interesting. They're designed for even deeper research capabilities, going beyond just finding information to actually analyzing it and putting it together in new ways.
Whoa, hold on. So instead of just getting a list of facts, it could actually draw conclusions or make predictions based on what it finds.
That's the idea. It's still early days, but it has the potential to totally change fields like scientific research or market analysis. Imagine an AI that could sift through mountains of data and find hidden patterns or trends that humans might miss.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. This is way bigger than just a new search engine. It's like the next evolution of how we access knowledge. It's almost like we're moving from a searching mindset to a knowing mindset.
Right.
Instead of having to hunt down information, it just comes to us.
Yeah, it's like having the collective knowledge of humanity at your fingertips, instantly accessible and tailored to your specific needs.
Which is incredible, but it also makes me wonder, if we're getting all these instant, seemingly perfect answers, Are we going to lose the ability to think critically and independently? Part of what makes learning so rewarding is that process of discovery, you know? Sifting through different sources, weighing the evidence, forming our own conclusions. Are we going to bypass all of that now?
That's a valid concern. It's important to remember that these AI tools are just that, tools. They're powerful, but they're not a replacement for human thought and judgment.
So maybe instead of thinking of it as bypassing critical thinking, we should think of it as like shifting it to a different level.
Exactly. We can focus on the higher level thinking skills, analyzing, evaluating, applying the information we receive. Instead of spending all our time gathering information, we can spend more time understanding and using it.
So it's like we're graduating from information gathering to knowledge creation.
I like that. It's a subtle but important distinction. And think about the implications for education. Imagine classrooms where students are no longer just memorizing facts, but engaging in deep discussions, exploring complex issues, and collaborating on projects that push the boundaries of knowledge.
And it's not just about classrooms. Think about lifelong learners, professionals who need to stay up to date in their fields. Anyone who's ever felt overwhelmed by the sheer amount of information out there, this could be a game changer for them.
Absolutely. It has the potential to democratize access to knowledge in a way we've never seen before. It's both incredibly exciting and a little daunting at the same time.
I know, right? It feels like we're on the cusp of something truly revolutionary, but we're still figuring out what it all means. One thing that stood out to me in the announcement was that they emphasized that any website or publisher can choose to appear in Chatgpt search. It sounds like they're trying to be as inclusive as possible while also giving publishers control over how their content is used.
That's crucial, especially as we navigate this new landscape. We need to make sure that publishers, especially those producing high-quality original content, are fairly compensated,
Yeah.
and that their work isn't just being scraped and repurposed without their consent.
It's about finding that balance between innovation and responsibility, making information accessible, but also protecting the rights of the people who create it. It's a lot to think about. The new features, the potential benefits, the challenges. We even touched on some of the ethical stuff with this ChatGPT search. But before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with something to really think about.
Yeah, let's get to the heart of it. We've explored the what and the why. But the most important question is, so what? What does this all mean for us in our everyday lives?
Exactly. So, dear listener, here's a question for you. If we can get these instant, perfect answers straight from the web, just by talking to an AI, how could that change the way we learn, work, and even think?
It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? Will we become more curious, or will we become too reliant on these tools? Will we lose that drive to dig deeper, to question what we're told?
It's like we're at a crossroads. The choices we make now about how we use this tech could change our relationship with knowledge and information forever.
And it's not just about us as individuals. We need to have these conversations as a society. How do we make sure these AI tools are used responsibly? How do we prevent bias and misinformation?
Big questions, no easy answers. But it all starts with awareness, with people like you, our listeners, engaging in these discussions.
So to everyone listening, keep exploring this topic. Share your thoughts. Ask questions. Let's figure this out together. After all, this is about the future of how we learn and understand the world around us.
And hey, maybe ChatGPT can even help you with that. It is a search engine after all. It could point you to some really interesting articles and perspectives on this very topic.
That's a great point. We can use these tools to learn more about the tools themselves. How meta is that?
I love it. Well, thanks so much for walking us through all of this. It's been a really thought-provoking conversation.
The pleasure was all mine. It's always exciting to be on the cutting edge of these advancements.
And that's a wrap on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep learning